Hey everybody, welcome back to Roleplay Blades, Hour 2. We are about to see what happens with this ambush, essentially. Sort of a social ambush. It's a combo plan. Grace is gonna arrive. She's a cautious, tough old pirate of a lady, but you guys have hit your roles here. You're in a controlled position when she arrives, and unless I'm misunderstanding, it seems like you're gonna kind of like let her enter, right?
Yeah.
You told her to come down here to the train car. You guys are gonna lie in wait somehow out of sight inside, and then when she comes in, someone's gonna spring the trap in some way, right? That's the general picture. All right.
I can paint the scene. So
yeah, that's how it goes down. You don't hear her because it's so loud, but at some point, an hour later or something, the train car door handle cranks and then like sticks, and she curses outside, and you hear her like bang it real hard, and rust falls down on the inside of the car, and then she shoulders the door through, and kind of cranes her head into the darkness there. And she reaches down to her belt. She has a little lantern. A lot of people in Duskwall carry little lanterns because it's all pretty dark. And you see her like about to reach down and light her tinder and hold it up to look inside.
And inside is just this chair, right? This bolted down.
It's the chair. There's a couple bunks that have been installed here, like wooden racks with mattresses on them.
Okay.
There's the wood burning stove on the other side from the chair. But it's pretty pitch dark in here.
What's her name again?
Her name's Grace.
Grace, right. I think she like lights her light or whatever and kind of steps in, and then and if this is out of character for anyone, they can tell me. But I think like, Aldo kind of reaches over her and then closes the door behind her. And Careless is just sitting in the chair, completely he's typical weird self in the middle of the room, legs crossed. Sees her, his smile broadens more, and he stands up and says, "Grace, it is so nice to finally meet you. My name is Careless Firm. My friends were oftentimes referred to as the last word. I would like to meet you." And he he stands up, looks very pleased with himself, walks over to her and sticks out his hand and says, May I make your acquaintance, please?
Yeah, so let's start with it sounds like you are consorting with her here, Jeff.
Sure.
You're establishing the right tone. This is essentially Zeke, I think you're muted. This is essentially a trap, but you're kind of diffusing in a way. So it's not like she instantly, goes for violence or something. It's like, okay, this is an interesting situation, maybe.
We're the people she expected to see, so
yeah, right.
That's what I was gonna say. Like she knows me personally, so I'd wait for you to talk to her before I said anything or before I showed my face.
Okay. Yeah, you can use any action you want, Jeff. But so far it sounds like you're consorting with her to like create the right tone in the room, so she'll talk to you, right?
Well, I guess if we're gonna do it mechanically,
yeah, there's a role here because
he would say,
yeah, go ahead.
"It's so nice to meet you. I will need you to come over here and sit in this chair, and I'd like to explain to you what's about to happen." So it's a command.
Okay. That's fair. So she's wearing her. She has like a heavy leather coat with the high collar that buttons across, and a leather tricorn hat. Her hair's in a braid. She's got a little mini lantern she's holding up. She squints her eye. You give your little speech about being the last word, and that she should sit down. And she starts to kind of think about her options here. All those like close the heavy metal door. You see the wheels turning in her head. Let's see. Gonna make her command roll. It's controlled because of the engagement roll.
Okay.
Went so well.
Standard effect.
I think you have great effect right now because she sees a torture room essentially.
Yeah.
it's pretty unambiguous, which is very threatening. But yeah, I think if it was consort, being in a torture room, would undermine you a little. Like, let's be friends, right? But because you're ordering her around, I think it actually increases your effect.
So I got 3 dice, guys. Does anyone want to push? I'm happy with 3.
Yeah, anyone can assist for 1 stress if you want to. You're all.
I mean, it's probably I should use a foresight.
Your free one.
I think it's important enough. Well, technically it is a new score. Is that fair?
It is a new score, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So I have 2. I have 1 remaining.
Okay, so I'll use that. So I have now 4 dice. Are you guys good with that?
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could come up with a devil's bargain if you want, but 4 is pretty good. So
I got a 5.
5.
Boom.
So 5 uncontrolled. You have a choice. So you can hesitate here and realize that command is gonna not work as well as you hoped, and change tactics before the consequences hit, and try a different approach if you want. Or you can just bull through it and be like, yeah, this isn't perfect, but whatever. And you'll end up in a risky position. Your controlled position will go away. You're going to be in a risky position for what follows, but it'll work. You'll get her to obey you. And
how about a DM counter devil's bargain? We take that risky, we make it desperate, John.
that when the roll comes up next, that may be an option. You may push for desperate from risky, but at least for right now, it'll drop to.
He goes with that. He's okay. He says what he says.
All right. Yeah. So she sits. She actually, because you didn't get a 6 here, I'm gonna give her a little leeway. She hangs the lantern. There's a hook near the door. She hangs the lantern. Looking you in the eye. She realizes that it's Aldo. It's not just some big goon by the door. She realizes who it is, and then the wheels are really turning. Then she sees Cataby in the flickering light from the lantern, and then she looks at Rune, and you guys all see she clearly knows Rune too. She looks at her, and she's like, yep, okay, and she has a little bit of a smirk, okay, all right, and
did she walk past my hand, by the way?
Yeah, well, she has her dignity. She's being commanded to sit in the torture chair, but she takes her jacket off, her coat off, and hangs it over the back of the chair. She takes her tricorn off and puts it on the side of the chair, and then she kind of sits back and crosses her legs and sits in the metal interrogation chair with some kind of grace. That's her.
And as soon as she's sitting, I just look at her directly and I just say, "Hello, Grace. I think you know why we're here. At least, I think you know why I'm here. And I think you know what correlation you have to that. So I'll let my friend do the talking, but I think we know what we're here for."
She looks from you to Cataby to Careless to Rune, and she goes, "Well, I don't know. Which one of you wants to get out from under me thumb? Is it you, love?" She looks at Rune. "Maybe it's you." And she looks at Cataby.
This is a fucking surprise to me.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Careless too. He's really bemused with himself when she starts saying this. He kind of walks back over and says,
hang on.
Go ahead.
She finishes with, she looks at Aldo, because obviously your deal. And then she looks and she goes, "Or maybe it's Mr. Firm."
And with that, Careless kind of struts over in front of her, puts his left hand on the backing of the chair over her shoulder, takes his right hand and sticks it. If it wasn't a hand, it would look like a knife, and he puts it in her stomach a little bit, like close to it, and says, real close to her, he says, I really must insist that you shake my hand. I really want to make your acquaintance. You know my name. I know yours. It's really the polite thing to do.
Yeah, she doesn't hesitate.
And there seems to be a sense of relief in him. He kind of sits back and straightens up and is like, there.
It's this leathery...
Point to make threats at each other. It's best that we know who we are, of course. Now look, it's well known that you have a bunch of information and that you know a lot of people. I do feel like as a person, I should update you on the current situation. Everyone in this room except for Aldo doesn't really care. We're going to kill you. But you can save your life. You don't have to die. You probably will, but you don't have to. We need a certain something from you, and he kind of looks back at the group, and this is again careless acting it up. He's like, now look, I don't normally have such a sweet deal, but we're actually going to give you a mark for free. And he just like puts his hands on his hips and looks really exasperated even just saying that. Normally we're pretty expensive, as I'm sure you know. Again, you're a smart woman, this one. You just need that item. Maybe a couple other things, but there's no reason we can't both benefit from this.
You may be expensive, but Lady Aramina's coffers aren't going to last forever. She'll run out, if she hasn't already.
That's true. And we will need to move on to the next fattened calf to begin to wean some of its lifeblood from it. I don't think you're that person, but in the moment, you are caught in our light. Now, what you do in that light is, well, it remains to be seen. But to give you an example, and he kind of points back at Rune. Rune, as I'm sure you know, she has a dog, and I've seen it tear a man nearly in half, but that would be a mercy. It was actually just from the stomach up to the neck, and then most of him came out upside down. Wouldn't you believe it? It's a thing to see, but not a thing to feel. Now, you're a smart woman. We just need the book. And we're offering you our services for it. Now, of course, to be more overt, and I'm not usually this forward, again, I have to remind you, I am going to kill you unless you do these things, and then anything could happen.
So it's Aldo then, is it? Aldo's little book. That book is quite valuable to me. Aldo is a tool, a very useful tool, I might add. More useful than one murder, surely.
As she calls him a tool, Careless kind of looks over his shoulder at Aldo, and then sighs a little bit and moves around to go behind her.
So the bargain you want to strike then is you'll give me one on the house, or you kill me. Am I hearing that right?
And from behind her now, he just kind of he leans in on her chair like this over the top and says, if you know me as well as I think you do, you know that the amount of patience that I'm displaying right now as this conversation moves what feels like in reverse. In fact, it is moving in reverse. I've already said that. Yes, that is the deal. You're up to date. You are current. He's just smiling, looking down over the top of her.
And I get to name the target then.
Yes, there was a small addendum in the contract that was kind of written up in a matter of words. We have first right of refusal. So if you tried something tricky, like you named, I don't know, Rune or something, we would of course be like, no, not Rune, but someone of import to you.
She looks around the train car. You see the grace wheels turning, the calculations. she's putting two and two together, or already has put it together and is trying to figure out the angle. All right. I know who's worth Aldo's little book. Someone who's been a thorn in my side. Someone I think you'd have no trouble getting to either. Fancies himself a do-gooder. She looks at the train car. Always stepping on my toes, he is. And then she looks at Aldo like right in the eye. Take care of Cortland. Then we'll call it square.
Not knowing who this is or anything like that.
Yeah.
Carol's just looking at Aldo.
Like also.
And you can tell, like, she knows she's twisting the knife here, but she feels like she hasn't overstepped. Like, you're not real good buddies, maybe. Like that's her play here. She's like, I can make it hurt, but I think you might do it. trying to hit that exact right space.
Well, careless. That's a no-go. So I say, kill her.
Aldo, I wish I could tell you that makes me sad to hear that, but I don't know what sad feels like. Miss Grace. And he starts to walk out from around behind her, and now he just has a knife. He's like, do you know whether or not I'm good with this?
I'm sure you are, love. You're not the first bloke to threaten me. I die. Aldo's precious little book disappears. Rune's little secret comes out. Miss Cadby goes to prison. And it's best if we not discuss your business in front of the rest, right, Mr. Firm?
Of course. Grace, it's not that you will die. See, that's rather bland. We are all going to die. Absolutely. The question, of course, is how. Now, you could die with any number of little secrets buried in pieces of paper in various different deposit boxes and that sort of thing. Or you could die over the course of several days as your flesh is filleted off of your body, much like a delicate meal, but in this case, more of like a weird science experiment. So many questions to be answered. Now, I understand threatening you is not really working, so I'm going to shift tactics here. You named someone that we obviously were not going to kill, and I think you did it as a little bit of a prong. And I gotta say, I'm starting to like you a little bit more because you did name that person. Well put. But I do not like being delayed. We need the book. You have the book. It seems like you are willing to offer it, so stop playing games with these names and give us someone that we can actually do with.
She's not pausing this long. I'm thinking about a good.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's about I pipe up just real quick, and I say, well, one thing. You know, Cortland and I are friends. I'm sure you've gathered that this is his place, one of them. When you say he's been a thorn in your side, how do you want him removed? Besides killing, what do you want him to stop doing? Because I might be able to do something about it.
I was under the impression that the last word was the last word.
Well,
are you offering different services now?
We are not. I am. You see the difference there?
Yeah, I
this
do.
Would not be a job of us, the last word. It would be a job for Aldo. The last job. Period.
Well, if you put it that way, I expect that one more stint in Ironhook would be the end for him and his little band. So,
I'm sorry, the what now?
Getting him back in prison would be the end of it, probably.
Okay.
If that could be arranged, I suppose that would suffice. But there's so many that are part of this little conspiracy here. Not to mention Jiren. She points at Miss Cataby. He's in on it too, isn't he? I know he is. Bump him off, or wouldn't complain.
Jiren is who again?
The blue coat.
Oh, right. There's also not this long of a pause in that. I just I think I might say something to like, oh, he's harmless. He just doesn't even know what's good enough for what's good for him. He's just a pawn in all of this.
And he knows what happens when he crosses grace. It's nothing good. An example is going to be made, and it could be you, or I could have someone else do it.
I suppose then that puts him, what do they say, between a rock and a hard place, because, you could say the same thing about crossing us.
Well, we offered one, and now you're trying to bargain for two. Which is it? Do you want us to deal with Cortland, or?
Jiren's fine. Again, they're both going to get what's coming to them. You can do it, or I can have someone else do it. Jiren, Cortland, whatever. It's all the same to me. In exchange for Aldo's little book, seems like a fair trade.
I'm good with that.
See, we can work out these issues with words. And there's power in those words. Now, to update you further on this contract as it's kind of being drawn out mentally, I apologize for the lack of parchment and pen. It's rather disgruntling for me. My skin is literally crawling with discomfort. I lack of professionalism here.
No worries, love. We'll make do.
Very good. We're going to keep you here. We're going to have you watched. We have not quite flushed out that part just yet. It might be a mythical ghost dog with the ability, again, to rend human flesh. Or it could just be one of us. But the idea here is we're going to accomplish the goal, come back, and you're going to tell us where to retrieve the book. Once we have the book, you are free to go.
She reaches into her waistcoat and pulls out a pocket watch. She says, Oh, I don't think we have that kind of time, love. See, if I don't do certain tasks at appointed times, bad things happen. To little books, for instance. But I think we're all honorable scoundrels, are we not? We've already shaken on it, haven't we?
We have shaken. Let me ask my friend something real quick. Rune, if we were to have Myth be instructed to tail her, would it be able to do that?
Myth can do that.
That's like privately, right? That's like off to the side.
So he just says it right in front of her.
Oh, okay.
So she lives in constant fear. Yeah.
If instructed to, would Myth be able to surmise a situation in which you would need to interact with Miss Grace here?
John, can Myth do that?
Hold on, let me ask God.
Myth is as smart as a dog. So.
Okay.
Oh, really? Just a dog?
What if
Myth
what if I stay with her? What if Myth and I both stay with her, and you three deal with Jiren?
Sure. I think
then,
say it back.
Yeah. Well, I'd need to stay with Myth because, I mean, Myth's wonderful, but he's a dog.
Okay.
And
but let me just add, like, it's magic, right? So if you want to, you could be like, hey, I want to send myth with her, and I want to attune or something. So like, if X happens, like we'll know about it or some magical shit like that. Like that's totally like, a thing you can do. Myth on his own isn't gonna be able to like figure shit out, but you could do something magical to do something like that.
Okay. Cool. Then let's do that. We'll just have Myth can like tail her, and then if we. Well, I don't know what to, because she could just destroy the book before we even get there is the thing. That's why I like feel like we need to keep an eye on her.
Yeah. So what I was going to say here is like, she's offering, an honorable arrangement.
Right. She's not an honorable person. Well,
if you want to, like, you can study her or something and like get a read on her. Like, is she going to actually uphold this? Is she lying to you? What's her deal?
Although you have the best study, don't you?
I don't know if I have the best. I think I'm tied. I got 2 in study, but I could definitely do that. And I would, if it's to see if she's actually going to honor this deal, I would definitely like consider a devil's bargain or pushing myself or something like that.
Yeah, and you guys can do a group action too because you're all here. So as many of you as you want can roll. You can all roll study if you want. Someone will have to lead the.
Oh, and do a group action. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, we can push yourself for devil's bargain here, Zeke.
Okay.
I mean, I think the obvious devil's bargain is it's obvious, like you give away the fact that you don't really understand her very much, and you're like scrutinizing her and trying to like figure her out, and it's like a status thing, right? It's like you guys aren't just being all cool about it. She realizes like, oh yeah, they don't really understand me. That's interesting. That's good to know. That seems like a fair devil's bargain here. It's subtle, but it's like a power play in a way, because her whole demeanor so far has been like, I'm on top. You guys have me in a torture room. I'm not the least bit concerned.
Which is it seems appropriate for this situation that would be the case, because Aldo is indeed desperate and will make like probably just some mistakes that he wouldn't normally make with any other person.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take that devil's bargain position.
It's risky.
Okay.
I think the risk here is leverage. Essentially, like you're reading her, she's reading you back. Who gets the upper hand here? Who sees through who? Because she'll be like on a 4-5, like maybe she'll read you guys too. And are you guys honorable? Can she tell if you're lying or if you're trustworthy? That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to do a group action, or are you doing this by yourself?
How do you do a group action?
Someone leads it, and they're risking stress for everyone who fails. But then everyone rolls, or everyone who wants to rolls, and the group gets the best result. Whoever rolls.
And we
best.
said this was study.
Probably study. You're studying her. You're trying to read her intentions.
I can do this on my own.
Consort could work if you like drew her into a conversation about it and got her to like talk about this concept of honor among thieves or something.
Okay.
If it really is just like reading her, by studying her, then it would be study. But you can choose the avenue here.
I have 2 in study.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. If you and Aldo both do it, that's pretty good odds. Better than
how do you get stress from that?
The leader takes stress if you guys both rolled, if Marcus rolled a 1 to 3 result, you take a point of stress.
Oh, okay.
You're like leading the group, and Miss Cataby would like be messing you up kind of. So you'd have to take stress from it.
Okay, that's fine. How do I get my what is the effect?
Standard, I think.
Okay. And I still get the bonus dice for the devil's bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we both roll, and then if we take whichever one's best, and if he fucking sucks, he burns me.
Exactly.
Okay. Sounds good.
And you said it was what? It was controlled?
It's risky and standard effect.
I think I will roll though, because it's for everyone that does it, and I don't have anything in it, and I don't think I would be studying her.
Yeah, if you don't roll, you don't get the results. Like you won't.
Yeah.
No.
It's another bolt in the chamber, but it's also another potential stress you'd get if I rolled like a 3 or something.
Anyone who
Bam.
wants to know
Zeke,
her.
sup,
Inter-
son.
Nice.
What?
Nice.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, you're already a
There we go.
6. Nice. 5-5. What were you calling that last time, Wayne? The mini crit?
Yeah.
Yeah, mini crit.
Sweet. But you got a 6, so the risk doesn't come to pass here. Like the Devil's Bargain does. She takes some pleasure. Careless, you definitely notice this when you see Aldo and Cataby like kind of lean over and give her a real hard long look. She acts a little bit like Careless would. Like she's kind of like, oh, paying attention to me, huh? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess I do have game here. I guess, yeah. I'm holding the cards. And she's like all kind of feeling super confident. But she doesn't read you back. She doesn't get anything from you during this exchange. You're able to, with Miss Cataby's expert studying skills there, you're able to keep her from like getting a read on you guys, whether or not you intend to honor your side of the bargain. She's not sure. But she knows you're by reputation, right? She knows you're professional and merciless. So she's trading on this idea that maybe you honor your contracts.
Yep. And then just to make this like RP sound, we have this conversation. She assures us that it's a good deal, or it's going to happen. She's not going to fuck me again. And then I just lean over to Cataby, and I actually kind of call her back. Well, since you don't really have a dog in this fight, what do you think? You think she's telling the truth this time?
I think she's got good reason to, want what she wants. I don't see any reason why. I think our intentions are clear.
All right. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, it's very loud, right? So you guys are able to have a little private chat. She enjoys that, enjoys you guys talking. She's kind of just nonchalant. This is going exactly fine. She's going to trade the book for the murder of a blue coat. That feels like a huge win in her book. So,
sure.
Yeah, she stands up. I think she kind of checks in with Careless. You're kind of looming, right?
Yeah.
She puts her pocket watch back and then goes to start to stand up to see if like that your business is basically wrapping up,
And we believe she's honest, right?
You do, yes. Miss Cataby can tell, in fact, that she's telling the truth.
Okay. I think the knife is just gone from his hands now. It's just gone. He kind of has his hands clasped and is just smiling as she walks out, like looking at her.
Yeah, she's very slowly, she puts her coat on, she puts her hat on, she picks up one of the chains of the manacles and like kind of looks at it and is like, huh. Well, pleasure doing business with you. I'll know when Jiren's dead, and shortly thereafter, Aldo's little book will arrive safe and sound. And she makes one mistake right here. Just because I did it as a GM, I'm gonna have her do it too.
Okay.
She was gonna say, like, where your lair is, to like show off how much she knows. That was the thought in my mind. And then as I was saying the sentence, I was like, oh shit, they have hidden lair. She can't know that. So I think she actually does that. I think she's so used to like threatening people with, I know where you live or that kind of thing. She starts to, she's like, and then I'll have your little book ready.
What's the bar that they Miss Cataby met Grace at first?
Oh, what was that called? 3 something?
You said the Three Stooges.
Yeah,
That's what you named it.
That's right.
Did you?
Is it
right.
Three Stooges?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did name it. That's right.
It
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
I offer, I will rendezvous with you at the Three Stooges, where this all began, and we'll have a drink to celebrate the mission well done, and I'll take the book from you and retrieve it and give it to Aldo.
Deal.
Fantastic.
Mister. She puts her hand out.
I shake it.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Rune, Aldo, Miss Cataby, I'll be seeing you. She tips her cap and like walks at Aldo as if you're going to get out of her way from the door.
Yeah, and before, I will, but before I do, Grace, I just want you to know, from one business person to another, this is not personal. Okay? I just want you to know that. I hope no ill will towards you or yours. So,
not at all. Not at all.
All right, then.
It's all the time. That's my motto.
And then I get out of the way. I grab the door and I.
And as she kind of leaves, I wait like a good 5 seconds, and my head kind of cocks a little bit, and I say, "Well, Rune, I believe you're best for this. I have a rather peculiar request. Before the day's end, or really at your nearest convenience, but if you could do it before the sun were to completely disappear, or our light source, from our ability to see it, I would need two things. One, a concoction of a muscle relaxer, very powerful. Need this person incapacitated. And second, a rat. If you could get me a rat and a muscle relaxant concoction, I would be most thankful. Is that something you can do?
Oh, I'll talk to Kellen.
Thank you. As for the rest of us, we have a cop to kill.
And scene. Nice. I love it. And on the TV show of our game, I think we see Kellen like go around a corner, up the rickety scaffold, up the stairs. Before she goes out onto the main drag, she stops for a second and like puts her hand on the wall and like kind of dry heaves a little bit for a moment, and then composes herself and like stands up straight and like everything.
You mean Grace, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Grace. Yeah, my bad. Like just bowled over by stress and nearly being murdered, and then composes herself and walks out into the drag. But I think maybe we see also a little shadow detach itself from the wall behind her in dog shape and prowl away just to keep an eye. If you guys still want to do that, she said she was being honest. You can tell she's being honest.
Yeah.
You can still keep an eye on her if you want to. That's totally fine.
I think to the best of our ability, we recognize that it's not a foolproof thing, but it's a nice little like.
Yeah. Is there like a trigger? We can make the attune roll like when it happens, just for maximum drama. But is there a trigger you want to sort of give to Myth Anne that's like, if X happens, like I get a buzz through the ghost field from Myth.
Well, we don't want her to destroy the book, right?
Definitely not.
She must not.
Yeah. So is there? Yeah, like could that be like the triggers if she's like going to destroy a book?
Yeah, I think that's a little dicey for Myth, but that's why we'll make a roll, right? It'll be like, well, if she goes to do that for some reason.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that like a dog would be able to pick up on. I think
possible, like some kind of intention from the human is what he might pick up on, right? Less like, oh, that's a book and it's a furnace he's going to throw it into. It's more like he can sort of like smell her emotions and like read her intentions. So if it comes to something like that, then we can make an attune roll for you to see if you get early warning about it. Basically if she's being fishy and suspicious, weird. But as far as you guys know from reading her, and I mean, I'm not trying to pull a GM.
Yeah, I feel like if she starts acting suspicious, I mean, my dog definitely picks up on people being suspicious. So
yeah, exactly.
I feel like, yeah,
totally. So if that happens, then you can you'll get a vibrate from
notification.
Notification. Yeah, right.
Wait a minute, the ghost field's calling.
Totally.
All right.
Cool. So maybe we can just cut back to maybe the lair. Kellen, someone's gonna Rune will arrange for Kellen to talk to your leech friend again.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who's you haven't met this person yet, or woman, you don't even know yet.
Yeah.
Some leech wants to work for the last word, and Kellen's like the go-between. So
Cool.
that is a thing that can happen. And so, Jeff, like in terms of the order, the chemical order, when you say muscle relaxant, are you what effect do you want it to produce when someone
A person loses control of their body. They're just
Like-
paralyzed.
oh like they just
But
flop around?
awake, right?
They
Yeah.
can't.
Awake.
They can't. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Paralyzed but awake.
Okay.
Conscious.
that is a thing. Let me get a ballpark figure for you for like how common or rare that kind of thing might be. So it's gonna. Do you have a duration you'd like, Jeff, for that?
Doesn't have to be long. An hour tops.
An hour top. Would a few minutes be okay?
If by a few you mean like 20 or 30, yeah.
Yeah, more like up to like 10 maybe.
Then give me the good stuff, John. I'm willing
You
to pay the cost.
Okay, you want the good stuff. So it's an hour, one person. All it does is sort of immobilize them. It doesn't do them
Yep.
harm or anything. Okay.
Right.
It's probably like tier 4, tier 3. Call it tier 3. It's 3 above you guys. Let's make a roll and see what the bill is for this.
Okay.
Anyone who wants can roll your tier, which is 0 right now. So just roll 2 dice and we'll take the lowest.
I'll do it.
Who feel lucky?
Yeah, because I'm about to roll
Double sixes.
like a 4 and a 6.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Nice.
That's a good one for 0, I think.
That's tier plus 1, which gives you 1, so it'll be 2. It'll be 2 coin for your
I pay.
muscle relaxant.
I just have it on my person, so I'll just take it off.
Which is a total ripoff, right? Like all of these costs are like really high, but this is the criminal world. Like he keeps it a secret, he gives it to you like immediately. You know, all these things are like part of the cost. You know, if you could buy the chemicals
Right.
yourself, it'd be cheaper, but whatever. It's 2 coin under the bridge. Fine.
Yeah, you don't pay him for the drugs. You pay him to forget he ever met you.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah. The discretion.
And for the work he does to acquire super illegal chemicals and have them on hand. So yeah, we don't need to make that a big production. Like basically, when you guys are back at the lair, Kellen will have delivered that. And you wanted, do you want a live rat or a dead rat?
Oh, live rat.
It's extremely easy. Both of those.
I
things.
honestly almost asked if you were talking about like a rat, like a prison rat, like someone who ratted out somebody.
I need a snitch. Any snitch, bring him to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got the drug from Kellen, and then I have like a shoebox type thing.
Okay.
And just because I'm an overachiever, I have 2 rats.
Oh my
Copy
God.
myself.
Fancy.
So I go over to Careless, and I hand him both of the things like kind of stacked on top of each other. I'm just like, all right, there you go.
Brune, this efficiency is startling. I really do appreciate it. He kind of like picks up the box and opens it up and looks in, and then like tickles one of the rats. Is like, I never understood the distaste for them. They're delightful little creatures. Close it. Thank you, Rune. This will be for later.
I just kind of walk away, and like kind of under my breath, I'm just like, all right, good stuff for me.
He's watching you like, as you walk off. Like the scene's just over your shoulder. He's just like behind, like.
And I'm just like whoop-de-doo, like rats, you know. I know that's weird.
It is.
Sets the shoebox down, comes down, and says, "Gather around. We should map this out. Let's do it quick, though. It's just a blue coat. It should not be that tough. We've killed ghost fighters, for God's sakes, people. Ghost fighters, people with bodyguards that are ghosts. This man should be very easy."
Yeah,
Do we
Miss
respect him? Does anyone respect him? That's the first thing. We could do this clean, or should we just kind of nuke the general area in which he lives?
What is his like actual profession with the blue coats?
He's he's one of the archivists who works in the
Right.
records. Kind of the main precinct. which is in Charter Hall, which is just south of you. That's where all of the most of the city buildings are, the courts, the jail before you're taken off to Iron Hook, all the different law firms, and Charter Hall University is there. It's this sort of mix between old official government building. It's like Washington D.C. in microcosm, right? Like very official government places and like rundown student housing and kind of middle of the road, homes and stuff. But there's a central Blue Coat archive at City Hall. Basically, that's where Jiren works.
And do they don't like have? I mean, forgive me for asking, but they don't have like the Blue Coats bunk where they all just stay. They all have homes, right?
Basically they do. There are cases where at a precinct or something there'll be bunks there where some of the recruits might live during their training and stuff, that kind of thing. But yeah, you go home at night as a Blue Coat and live somewhere else.
Okay.
So, yeah, Ms. Cataby doesn't necessarily know where it is off the top of her head, but that's a thing she can find out. So.
Right. That was my thinking. Is that of course it would be a lot easier if we didn't do him at work, if we waited till he was home and then did him there. So if Miss Cataby could find it out, I feel like I should be the one to do this since it's for me. If you have any objections to that, let me know. But I have no problem sitting in a chair in his house until he gets off and taking care of him right there.
I think as he says that, Careless steeples his fingers and looks over at Rune and goes, Rune, do you have any problem with Aldo waiting until a man comes home and then murdering him in his house? Do you have a problem with that, Rune?
No.
No, I don't have a problem with that. And then he looks over at Miss Cataby and he's like, Cataby, do you have a problem with that? I don't think she does. This seems to be a
don't. None.
That was great.
You read my mind.
One thing, Miss Cataby, when you're finding stuff out about him, where he lives and whatnot, find out if he has any kids or a wife or something, because we might have to change plans if he does. Because I'm not one to kill someone in front of their wife and kids. I mean, I will, but I'd rather not if I don't have to.
I can do that for you.
Thanks.
Easy piece of info to come by.
Yeah, it's so easy that you don't need to roll, right? Jiren has he has no reason to like hide that kind of thing or be secretive, and you're connected to a network of informants and underworld spies and shit. So it's extremely simple for you to do that. Wait a minute. There is one possible wrinkle now that I think about it. You definitely don't want anyone to remember that you asked about him, right? Because he's about to die.
Of course.
So,
and we actually have a good rep with the Blue Coats right now. We're trying to not have that damn.
I think you're -1 with them right now, aren't you?
Well, good for us, John.
I'm pretty sure you are. This is not going to help your status.
Just walking around. Is there anybody who's going to miss this guy? Does anyone miss him?
Yeah, that's right. You're -1 because you went back to Lady Iramina's and those guys tried to roll you and you were like, we're not paying you off.
Right.
So you went from neutral to -1 with them. Yeah.
Mm.
Careless thinks we have a good relationship with them.
So yes, if you guys could like follow him home from work and do like a prowling kind of, tail or hunt him down or something. Or you can consort through your network, but it'll be risky. It'll be a risky roll because the risk is like leaving a footprint, right? This guy died.
So consort with network, what was option one? Hunt?
You could just like follow him home from work and then,
What kind of by comparison,
prowl?
what kind of a roll would that be?
It'd be a prowl roll.
Okay.
Your Charter Hall.
I mean,
I have
obviously,
2 in prowl.
I would always go to my network on a roll where I could consort,
Yeah, it's up to you guys how you want to.
even if it's risky.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
2 in Prowl, so I could do that. Or I don't know how many you have in Consort. You probably
I
have 2
have
or 3,
3
right?
in consort,
Yeah. Okay.
and
That's
I
probably
would
better than-
maybe be willing to push myself on that if it meant trying to keep quiet.
Not leave a trace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I let's do that.
I would say the risk it essentially correlates to your status, right? Like if you guys can keep this real quiet, the bluecoats have no reason to actually move to hostile with you. They'll just stay unfriendly if you don't leave any kind of
Mhm.
traits.
What do I have an option to say consort with Salia to try to be like create an an intermediary, like a medium, basically a middleman?
To
Makes it harder?
for her to take the heat if things go south.
Well,
When you say it like
all
that.
right, yeah.
mean,
When you
yeah,
say
you
it like that, no, I want to take the heat, and I feel like I can do this, and I'll push myself.
Okay. I mean, I'll give you a bonus die for Salia, but on a
No.
on a 4
No,
5.
I don't want to leave. No,
Okay.
you won't do it. It's
You
not
got
gonna
it.
happen.
I
Okay.
hear
So,
if you push yourself, it costs 2 stress.
yep,
You get a bonus die.
I'm doing that. Consort. You said risky.
Risky, yeah.
Standard effect.
Yeah. You're finding his out of. Well, oh, hang on, wait. Let's see. Do you want to know like where he lives and probably like his general schedule, like when he gets off work and that kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. Like what I would want to do if I was, definitely like tracing a mark.
And you wanted to know if he had a family.
Yeah.
I think that fits into standard. Do you have anything that boosts your effect here? Do you have any fine items?
I mean, I have documents, and I have a no.
Okay. All right.
That's it. I have documents.
Trying to see if this is pushing you to desperate or not. I don't think so. I think his family status, his location, his home, and his schedule is all within
Should we
standard.
just err on the side of caution and just do desperate just in case? You think?
I'll take the XP, but okay. So risky, standard, and 1 bonus die, and
2 6s.
Oops. So I would love
See it.
that, Zeke. I would
See it.
love that. My
Ooh,
God.
Damn.
Oh no!
Ooh,
Is it bad? Oh,
That
3,
is
2.
fail.
1.
That is a fail.
That's
So
they hear about it
That
without-
might be the first actual fail in 9 episodes.
Maybe
No,
from this Academy. Yeah, it's possible.
For all the times I got attacked by a ghost.
That's right.
Yeah.
seen
True.
seen plenty from Room. Yeah, things go badly, and I get to pick a consequence. I can put you in a desperate position, inflict a complication, lose the opportunity to find this out. Suffer harm doesn't make sense. I am gonna say, Well, so first of all, we know that the risk comes true. Things go badly. So the complication is leaving a footprint here. You talk to some people, and after all this goes down, someone's going to remember, and we're going
someone
to.
said connected or something.
Sorry.
They were saying connected saves him.
Oh, you have connected. Sweet.
Well, I do, but the reason I didn't is because technically it says during downtime.
Yeah, this is downtime. This is downtime.
Oh, it is. Nice.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything because I was like, well, we're okay. Great. Yes,
Yeah.
I do have connected.
We're between scores, so technically it still counts as downtime. And yeah, you're gathering info. And so, just remind us what connected does. I forgot you had it.
Yeah, connected is during downtime, you get a +1 result level when you make acquire asset, gather info, or reduce heat rolls.
Exactly.
And then
So-
be gather info.
That 1 to 3 becomes a 4/5. It's a success.
Thank you, chat. Thanks, chat bros.
Nice.
Broettes.
Now you
Chat
are supposed to
GM.
you're gonna get -1 faction status with the blue coats at the end of all this.
Okay.
You are still leaving a footprint. That's the complication. But you get the info instead of hidden complication and learning nothing.
Remind us, we're the blue coats again.
You are going to be after this.
Now
Yeah.
remind. Oh, okay.
John, all we're doing is killing a man.
I know.
Oh,
When you
Come on.
kill a member of law enforcement, they usually are cool with it. I mean, they don't usually care.
This is ridiculous, you know?
Deal normally, but these guys are they're very touchy. They're just very touchy, Joe. Yeah. So, and you're aware of that, Wheat. Like Miss Cataby realizes, like, oh man, yeah, geez. That's they're if something happens to this guy, someone's gonna talk, you know. So you guys have the option right now if you wanted to like bail and not do this because you know the consequences, but I know you're not gonna do that. I just want to make that clear that Miss Cataby's aware that there wasn't a perfectly seamless information gathering trip, but yeah, right. you know where he lives. He lives in Charter Hall, really close to City Hall, actually, a couple of streets away, in a very old government building that's been converted into apartments. He has a wife. He doesn't have children, and he works like the late shift. Essentially, he works swing shift kind of time.
They're saying you can up your score by spinning a coin, but I kind of like it failing, chat. I kind of like.
Who's his wife?
I'm happy with the results. That's okay.
His wife is also a blue coat. She's
okay.
Yeah.
Does she work nights?
No.
So, I'm sorry. Wife, kids though?
No kids.
No
okay.
kids.
Okay.
Yeah,
the wife is also a blue coat.
Yep, they currently work different shifts. She's a patrol watch guard.
Okay, if they work different shifts, that means he'll be home and she won't for a good chunk of time.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys know the neighborhood when Cataby like talks to the contacts and stuff. You know, like it's not quite like saying, "Oh yeah, they live like at the police station." It's not quite that bad, but it is very close to Blue Coat Central, the main precinct, only a couple streets away. So yes, we should take our next break. We're about at that time, given that information. So we'll take a break here, and we'll be back to see how they take care of this dude. See you all.